Mr. Kwasi Pratt, thank you to When Matters Arising. What's your take, sir?
Well, I mean, Eric, my first major surprise is your statement that we are not worried. You should be worried, very seriously worried. There's a stabbing incident. A young man, supposedly a student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, is struggling for his life.
Thank you.
And this is coming out of a party activity. And it's not just Eric who should be worried. All of us, as Ghanaians, even as citizens of the world, need to be very deeply worried about this development. You understand? It's exceedingly worrying. It should not have happened. And you see, when people appoint their security teams and bodyguards, they are responsible for the actions of those they appoint. You cannot appoint bodyguards and security personnel for yourself and so on. And when they engage in acts such as stabbing and so on, claim that, oh, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. Because everybody who appoints a security team, appoints bodyguards and so on, has a responsibility to ensure that they are well behaved, that they do not commit criminal acts and so on. And I think that point also needs to be made very, very, very clearly.
Except to say that in this case, we cannot confirm if indeed the chap who committed that act of violence is actually Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's security.
But you have Kennedy Agyapong. Unless Kennedy Agyapong is lying.
That's his claim.
Unless he's lying. Yeah. I have no reason to believe that he's lying.
Okay.
And his claim has not been challenged.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
So the point is that anybody who appoints a security team and bodyguards and so on bears some responsibility, for the actions of the people that they appoint and so on. Now, there's something else that I think is striking. You see, what is happening with this thank you tour is perhaps unprecedented. It is not true and cannot be true that this has always happened. It's not true.
True.
Because if you look at Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he lost twice,
yes.
I think, before he won.
Yes.
So, in all the cases, thank you tours were organized, but were organized by his campaign team. That's the difference.
Not by the party.
No, they were organized by his campaign team. Check. In this case, it is the party which has decided to organize a thank you tour. It is the party whose leader today is Mr. Stephen Ntim,
yes,
which has decided to organize this campaign tour highlighting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That's a difference.
Why highlighting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? There are other contestants.
Read the stories that we read today. That the tour is led by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Isn't that what we are being told?
Well, what we're told is that he's a key figure, but not necessarily the leader of the tour. And it is so because he is the party's immediate past flag bearer.
No problem. You want us to get into semantics, we can do that. He's the key figure, he's the leader. What's the difference, tell me?
Well, Uncle, he just led the party into a defeat, 2024.
So
it doesn't stand
I'm saying that what is happening is unprecedented. Are you challenging that? I'm saying that in the previous cases,
yes,
it is the campaign team of the losing candidate which organized the thank you tour.
Yes.
There's a substantial difference today.
Yes.
It is the party which is organizing the thank you
And what do
tour.
you find wrong with that?
You yourself said what I'm about to say. I'm only repeating what you said. The complaints about party organizing the thank you tour headlined by one potential candidate for the next elections.
Right.
You know the complaints.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
If it's this campaign team, why not? There's no problem. But if it's the party and if you watch all the videos and so on, he's actually posing as the leader of the party. He's not the leader of the party.
Okay.
You understand? So that brings about some discomfort. And that discomfort has been expressed by many people in the party and so on. So that's there. Now, yesterday, I read a statement issued by Kwasi Agyapong,
yes,
who was also an aspirant, a presidential aspirant, and as a matter of fact, who has been in the party from its very beginning. He's played a very key role in building the new patriotic party to what it has become today. I remember very, very clearly in 1990-91, even before the party had emerged, even before the Dankwa-Buzia clubs had emerged, Kwasi Agyapong was in the thick of affairs, you know, laying the foundations for the emergence of the party. He was then in New Jersey, you know, as president of a bank and so on. I used to visit him in New Jersey for discussions and so on. So I knew the role that he played, you understand? Now, he issued a very strong and telling statement. I read the statement yesterday. I'm told that the statement was issued 2 days ago.
Yes, fact.
In which he says that this thank you tour is turning into a total disaster and that there's a need to meet again, to claw back and return to the original design, which was meant to energize the party base and refocus and so on. I think he's absolutely right. The way this thank you tour has started and gone, it's a disaster.
Kujupini has said the same thing.
It's a complete disaster.
The former chief of staff, yes.
And in fact, the former chief of staff is even wondering whether it was necessary at all.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, if you listen to the speeches which are given at this thank you tour, there's no thank you in it. Go and listen to the speeches. One lamentation after the other. Discussions about how and who failed and how they failed and so on.
But because that's always preceded by thank you. They would thank them for voting for the party.
For helping them to lose the elections.
Before they talk about the other things that you're talking about. So there's always a thank you.
Thank you for helping us to lose the elections, but you were responsible for our loss. I've been listening to the speeches very carefully. I mean, yesterday, I saw one video, and that video tells a huge story. This is the video of the former vice president and the presidential candidate, almost in tears. And he says, look, we lost the elections because we were arrogant. We lost the elections because we didn't listen to the people. We lost the elections because we didn't pay any serious attention to winning the votes. And then he makes this interesting disclosure that 3 days to the elections, petroleum prices were increased. And he said he was so surprised when he heard of the increase in petroleum prices. I'm sure you've also seen that video. Yeah. He was so surprised. And that initially, he even thought that it was not true. And later he got confirmation that it was true. What a vice president. What a government. I mean, this is a huge statement.
What do you find strange about that, Kwasi?
That 3 days to an election,
yes,
petroleum prices are increased. The vice president, who is a presidential candidate, knew nothing about it. Heard it the same way that you and I heard it. And was so surprised and shocked and didn't do anything about it or couldn't do anything about it. That's a huge statement, isn't it? And then he says he knew that e-levy was bad. Why? The party people, party foot soldiers, party leaders and so on, were telling them that e-levy was going to cost them the elections. He knew. Vice president, chairman of the economic management team, and so on, knew that e-levy was bad. He couldn't do anything about it.
What could he have done, Kwasi? Let's be realistic.
If it's bad, if it's not in the interest of the country, if it's not in the interest of the electorate,
yes,
if it would lead to losing elections and so on,
yes,
proper vice president, vested with powers and so on, You couldn't raise it, build the argument in your cabinet to get it withdrawn?
What if it did? But cabinet is taking a decision.
He should come and tell us. He should come and tell us that the cabinet in which he served didn't listen to him, his views didn't matter. He should come and tell us. You understand? He should come and tell us.
I'll bring you.
You understand? He should come and tell us. But these are significant statements which are being made. You understand? And a lot more. I mean, everybody has heard it. I need not repeat all the things that he said. You understand? But for me, there's also something which is very striking. The Makukwe Committee was set up to find out why the elections were lost and to make some proposals for reform and so on. Fine, no problem. We are told that the Makukwe Committee printed only one copy of the report. And in fact, one account actually tells us that even Makukwe doesn't have a copy of his own report.
He may have a soft copy. He may have a soft copy. This is his machine, laptop.
Oh, you know that.
He may.
I'm talking about statement made by party generals.
Yes, you're talking hard physical copy. Yes, it's only one.
Yeah, only one.
Yes.
So he himself doesn't even have a copy of the report.
Yes.
And that this report contains such explosive material that it has to be kept as a confidential document.
Yes.
You know, if you have a report which is good, which is edifying, which promotes your interest and so on, you would definitely want people to see the report.
So it means it's not edifying, Kwasi.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's not
the
edifying.
only report you hide is a report which is not edifying.
Yes.
The only report you hide is a report which is damaging and so on.
Yes.
So it's up to the party to decide whether to hide it or not. But for me, I just wonder, this report has been compiled on the basis of interactions with party members. It is the views of party members which is contained in the report. So the party members who expressed those views, which is contained in the report, know the views they expressed.
Yes,
not so.
true.
So you are hiding their views from them. Very strange logic, isn't it? Very strange logic. Hiding the views of party members from the party members who express the views which form the basis of the report. Very strange. You know. But that is not all. Now, since this report was presented, you and I, everybody, including Eric, have been seeing snippets of information allegedly being culled from that secret report. And we are constantly being told that those are lies, those are fabrications. We should not listen to them, we should discard them. Fine, we agree, we are discarding them, we are not listening to them. But then they go on the Thank You Talk, and everything which has been published on social media is being repeated through microphones. Everything is being repeated through microphones. And you see, quite apart from the Thank You Talk, it's also the commentary by leading persons of the immediate past government and the party. And one particular guy who I've been following very closely is a guy who is described as a spokesperson on governance, you know, in the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia administration.
You mean Dr. Pargriff?
My goodness. The kinds of revelations that are coming out. Mind-blowing.
Which of them?
Well, the last one I read was yesterday, in one of the newspapers, in which he actually accuses Dr. Bawumia of throwing former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo under the bus, you know, and challenging some of the allegations which appear to be made against Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm sure you saw it.
Yes.
Yesterday it was all over the place. And so on. You understand? So that's one part Of course, there are so many of them. I don't want to get into all of them. But you're making very serious allegations. Then there are the significant foot soldiers. And when I say significant foot soldiers, I mean the significant foot soldiers who have acquired public stature because they are in the communications team, because they are engaged publicly and so on. And one of them that I listened to, it actually says that, look, their views were completely ignored throughout the 8-year period. That they saw things going wrong, and when they complained, they were either ignored or shouted down and so on. And they are bitter. They are really, really bitter. But the most significant revelations by one of them, whose name I'm sure you all know, is that even them, he says that, look, one of them, his child finished his education and was looking for a job. Like any other person, looking for a job, was not looking for special favors. You know, everybody is entitled to look for a job and so on. And when he approached people in government, they told him to come and pay a bribe. Party foot soldier who has sacrificed his everything, you know, his reputation and everything, defending the party and so on, is looking for a job, and the only way he can get a job is to pay a bribe. I mean, and this is said on radio. I mean, incredible and interesting stuff. You understand? So they are all bitter. Now, where has that brought us? First of all, there's the increasing complaints about this thank you tour and how it has to be stopped and reorganized and refocused and so on, and it's coming from all kinds of places. Fine, that's one trend. Then there's the trend which says that, look, Alhaji Bawumia does no wrong. Alhaji Bawumia was not helped. You know, his campaign was sabotaged by unwise decisions like increasing petroleum prices, you know, in the nick of time and so on. And that now he's free to be his own man. And we believe that as his own man, he can win the next elections, and therefore we are standing with Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia all the way. No matter what happens, he is going to become the next presidential candidate of the party. And I'm sure you've heard that. I mean, Sarah Adra, Safo, and so on, they represent that trend. And then there's the trend, which is represented by this guy who used to be at the Ghana Gas Company and others.
And there's also Bempa.
And so on. Who are saying that there be that the selection of Bawumia is what led us to our defeat. And therefore, in the next primaries, we are going to make sure that he doesn't come anywhere near the ticket.
He's been hauled before the disciplinary committee of the party.
Yeah, I know. I'm only saying what he said.
Yes, I get it.
And he's not the only one who is saying that. Yes. There are so many people who are saying that. You understand? And those include, for example, the supporters of Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, who are out there and who are very loud and who insist that, look, in the next round, it will not be Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, but Kennedy Agyapong and so on, and there are others, you know. So that trend is also there. And I don't think that it can be taken for granted.
Okay.
Then, interestingly, there's another trend which simply says that, look, this party is not the party we joined. This is not the party we built.
Dr. Nyawota Maklo.
Well, you like to provide the names. So when I want to provide the names, I provide them myself. You know. But then there's that trend, and he's saying that this is not our party. This is not our new patriotic party. This is a structure which has been hijacked from us and so on, and that this structure is no longer fit for purpose. And therefore, we need to erect a new structure. We need to build a new platform and so on. And that trend is there. And that trend is strong. You understand? And then there's the trend which says, we have already left. We abandoned it a long time ago. We saw that it was a hopeless structure. It's not going to lead us anywhere. We've abandoned it. You know, we tried to build a movement. Now we are going to transform the movement into a political party. It's also there. You know. And then To some extent, you can also talk about the pro and anti-Akufo-Addo factions also inside the party. And this is the reality. And so there's so many strands. Now, in moments such as this, for any political movement, for any political party, even for social clubs and so on, in moments like this, what you require is a strong and sober leadership. What you require is a magnetic force made up of leaders who are sober, who are reflective, who have personalities that attract, who are sensible enough to use the force of persuasion and so on to create a center, a new center. I don't think that the New Patriotic Party lacks that caliber of people. They are there. There are many of them. That caliber is there in the party. But when I sit back, I just wonder, why is it not being used? What is preventing the emergence of this sensible, cohesive center? Because it's not emerging. It's not coming together. What is it? Is it that the politics has degenerated to the extent that decent people no longer want to identify? Or is it that such personalities are being deliberately prevented from assuming a role which is crucial for the survival of the party? And I can mention a few. I mean, I have tremendous respect for somebody like Mr. Kwasi Pratt. And I know the role that Mr. Kwasi Pratt played in building the New Patriotic Party. I know what role he played. Indeed, I met Mr. Kwasi Pratt in prison in 1986. We were actually in the same block. And we spent a considerable amount of time talking and thinking about the future of this country and how things would shape up. And even by 1986, in prison, he was working to put together the foundations of what became the New Patriotic Party. He's a dedicated party member. He's reasonable. He's open. He has links with people even outside the tradition and so on, and has contributed significantly to building the party to what it became, not what it has become. You understand? He's available. Why is he not becoming the center of reorganization? I don't know. He's still very healthy. He's advanced in age, very healthy, very sober, very articulate. What is happening to someone like Kwasi Pratt? What is preventing Kwasi Pratt from taking center stage in the reorganization of the party today? And he's not the only one. I mean, former President Kufuor is available.
That's him on the screen.
Yes.
Yes. The Economist.
Former President Kufuor is available. You understand? Take it or leave it. He is the only, and I mean only, Dankwa Buzia leader who won elections which can be described as completely free and credible for the first time in the history of the party. The only one. You understand? He is the one who was able not just to unite the party, but also to forge an alliance with even hostile forces like the CPP and so on. He's there. His expertise is available. Why is he not in the center of the reorganization? What is happening? And then, to cap it all, in this state of paralysis, in this state of turmoil, in this state of confusion, people are beginning to pose as contestants for positions. I've had a list of people who want to be general secretary. General secretary of what? Of the party in this state?
But the party still exists. They may have challenges, but the party still exists, Kwasi.
Oh,
the party still exists.
There are so many parties which exist. You know, and I don't think that the New Patriotic Party just wants to exist. It wants to do more than exist. You understand? Right. And there's some curing that has to happen for the party to move to the next stage. I'm told, for example, that they've set up this committee, which is going to bring up, recommendations for reform, which may include constitutional amendments and so on. Yeah. So at least the party is minded by the fact that it needs to reorganize, it needs to reposition itself and so on.
All right.
That ought to be the priority.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
Eric is here. He knows better than me. He knows the party better than me. You understand?